know what to do. Hello, hello. If you hear us, can you please say yay, yay? Can you say yes, we hear you?
Yeah. It's also possible people got bored and left. Too. Yeah.
No, because we have the replay, so they can always watch the replay. That's no a problem. We just need to make sure that that they can hear us, and then we can continue moving forward. Okay, yes. I think people can hear us. So, hi. If you have just joined, can you say hello if you can hear us so that we can continue with this conversation? I'm pretty sure you can hear us because I can hear myself in my own phone. So that we can continue. And I don't know how to. I'm pretty sure you can hear us because I can hear myself. Okay, cool. So hello, this is our second intent. We had some technical problems, but we hope everything is all right and that you can hear us. If you are here, thank you so much for taking off your time to listen to us. It's our first live chatter session. My name is Saras Feijóo, and I am the artistic director of Clown Stepping, and also the first Edinburgh Contemporary Clown Festival that will take place from the 28th of April until the 5th of May 2018. So please write it on your diary. So today we are going to have a chat with Stanley Allan Sherman, who is a director and developer, performer, clown, mime, and an artisan specializing in masks for Commedia dell'Arte. He has done masks for ballet and rap and clowns and dancer and everything that has everything for the theatrical entertainment world. So welcome, Stanley. How are you?
Fine. And how are you?
I'm okay. Oh yes, I am very happy that we have passed this technical problem and that people can listen to us. If you just join, if you are watching the replay, please say hello. If you are watching us live, also please say hello and tell us where are you watching from, okay? So Stanley, tell us a little bit about yourself before we start with our theme of the day.
Well, I started out, when I was a little kid.
Okay.
I saw a comedian in the Ed Sullivan Show. I must have been like 5. And I said, wow, what a great way to make a living. He's having fun. So I did theater, and after high school, I was convinced I'd never be able to make a living in theater in my life, but there was a mime. And I was fascinated by him. And I copied the movements, and I walked in place, and then I went to Israel, and my dad said, if you can make the money, you can go. Suddenly I was studying mime, ballet, and jazz. Next year later, I was in Paris, studying with Jacques Lecoq, cashed in my airline ticket, home, paid for the first year, worked as a model at Beaux-Arts and several art studios. So I put food on the table, and I learned sculpture technique. Went back to Oregon, started performing after graduating from Lecoq's, working out, doing things from rock concerts, all kinds of shows, and I made a living performing. Put together companies, broke them up, but basically, I made a living performing. And clown,
Yay!
Was I holding banquets every week? No. Okay, but I paid the rent, I paid my bills. So, and for years, I made a living at a solo show Hour 20 Minutes, got Critics' Choice in the LA Times and several other papers. Reviews are one of your banks. That's a real review from a real newspaper is worth a lot of money, because people would book me simply reading my review. That's the only thing they based it on. And then, in the 90s, I was in an off-Broadway show for 3.5 years. In the show, I was, I got whiplash to the side of my neck. I could still do the show, but, it's like my doctor said, that Hour 20 Minute physical show, you might find something else to do. Now, during that time, I was always making masks. And people started asking me to make masks for them. So I figured out my technique. I worked with Carlo Manzoni Clemente, replacing his set of masks, learned a lot. And so to update you into today, I make a lot of masks for clients around the world, from pro wrestling to ballet to custom fitting clown noses. And I also help people develop original material, or companies develop original material.
Which is what we are gonna talk today, right?
Right.
Well, you want to finish? That?
Oh, I don't have to.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, go for it.
Creating original material is, I think, one of the vital things for performance. And there's a couple of philosophies out there. One philosophy is steal everything, but make it your own. I disagree with this philosophy, because it's very important to create your material. If you're always looking to steal and take somebody else's, you never find your own true material. And I think that is reflected in fannies in the seats.
Yeah, we were talking.
For those who don't know that term, it's a New York term for Broadway, off-Broadway. Can you put people sitting in the seat? Do you have asses sitting in the seat, filling up your theater? Ultimately, you want people to pay to see you, take their hard work that they do, their money, their time, and say, you're worthy to give you my money so I can sit down and have a wonderful experience. And so for that, you want to be doing original material, and for the long run, because as you go through life, the longer you go, if you never find your original material, you will never reach the height.
Yes.
That you should. And this is because there is failure, and failure is a part of finding your performance, your original stuff. So how do you create this stuff? And it comes from your soul.
Yes, exactly.
It comes from what you care about. It comes from what moves you. It's ideas. Comics creators always carry around a book, because when they have an idea,
yes,
they instantly write it down.
Yes.
Right? Because you're not going to remember. You think you are, but you're not.
I know this.
You know that, right?
I always say to myself, oh, it's okay, I will remember later. And it's like, no, write it down. You won't remember.
Yeah. Even if it's 3 or 4 words, you write it down. If you're a creator, you have to get a book that you like to write down ideas.
Yes.
Because when you're in the creative mode and you're really creating, it's a constant. There's no time off. That means you can be relaxing. You've worked in your creative mode, and then you relax, you go for a walk, and you're thinking about everything but that, but in your mind, you're thinking about it, and then
and suddenly comes, yeah.
And it's thrilling, it's exhilarating, it's more fun than just borrowing other people's stuff, because it's scarier.
Yes, I just let me, because what you're saying, it's very amazing. It's amazing, and I feel very. I feel like this. I feel like stealing perhaps is. Oh, hello, Michelle. Thank you so much for joining us. Say hello on the comments. One thing. One thing is like, yeah, we can steal, but it's much more amazing when you go inside your heart and when you go inside yourself, and when you create original material, it's also an opportunity to discover who you really are and what you have to express and how to express it in the way that resonates with your soul. So when you are on the stage, it's not only, oh, I'm finding I need both I need, how did you say, people on the seats. It's also I am expressing funny syndrome. I'm also it's also about I'm sharing with you what I'm made of, and this has very
it's very much, I always said early on, theater is partially going up on stage, doing Harry Carey to yourself, splitting yourself, pouring all your guts out on stage.
Yes.
and creation is scary. There is the fear of failure. There's the fear of, oh, this isn't any good. What was I thinking? Imagining, no, this is, and that fear of failure is important. It's important to realize that's one of the monsters that you, as creators, need to conquer. Because oftentimes you're wrong. It's wrong. Okay. It's like that. I was helping this woman develop and directing her piece, a ballet dancer, and she thought she was doing something that was awful, that it was, and so she had some friends stop by the studio to pick something up, and she totally doubted what she was doing. So I said, hey, while you're here, would you mind sitting down? I just want you to see this. And the person did this, and her friends were blown away. And she didn't realize how good she was until her friends saw it and went, wow.
Ah, yes.
So, you create stuff and you do things. Now, what's important about this is, and this I learned from Red Skelton, and this is partially one of the ways I built my solo show decades ago, is friends would come over and visit me. People would drop things off and say, hey, do you have a minute? I want to show you something. And I would do something I was working on, and it could be a minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. And I'd get their reaction.
Mm-hmm.
And you see, Red Skelton said he practiced in people's homes because he said, I'm going to be in people's living rooms. So that's where he worked. That's where he tested out stuff. The Marx Brothers tested out stuff. Paramount built a whole theater for them. I'm not sure if it was Paramount, it could be some other, for them to test out stuff. Where do you test out your material? Many performers, from the 70s, late 60s, 70s, practice on the street because that was the only place we could work. We weren't being booked. And a few of those performers went on to fill up Broadway theaters and off-Broadway theaters. Okay, so how do you come up with ideas?
Yeah, exactly. This was gonna be my question is how you create, because so far we have talked about why it's so important, you know, that's what, and now how do you create or how do you advise people to create new material that is aligned with your soul, as you were saying before?
Okay, a couple, technical numbers. Okay. What do you care about? What do you give a shit about? Like 3-4 hours a day, 6 days a week, in a studio, by yourself, or by yourself and your company members, or your team, or a director. You work on it. You have to care about the stuff. It can be peanut butter and jelly. But you have to care about it.
Yes.
You have to stimulate. You have to be excited about it enough that you actually spend all day long with it. Okay. And you start out with an idea. Now, that idea does not mean that is the end. That's the opening of the door.
Exactly.
You see, and where you start and where you end up can be totally different places, and they will be. But it's a development.
Yeah.
You start with one thing, and it can be stupid and bad and awful, and it could be really sucky. That leads and opens the door to something else.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
You know, and it eventually leads to your brilliance, because brains, you need to be brilliant. You can't just be good. There's lots of good people out there. You want to be your brilliant. You know, you don't want to be saying, "Oh, see so and so. He's exactly like so-so, or she's exactly like so-and-so." Well, look at the real person. Okay. You know, so working and closing yourself off in a studio is vital. Testing your material out in front of not just theater people, but normal people, normal audience people. You know, a delivery person comes and delivers a package. That's the person you want to test a bit out of.
Just normal people.
Yeah, normal people.
Yes.
And you create something and it doesn't work, or a piece of it doesn't work. You try it again.
Yes.
You just try it again, and you do it differently. To repeat something is you're not really repeating.
It's different. Yeah. Oh, hello. You have frozen?
This is all part of the key to creation, to creating original stuff. You know, and when you're creating it, you can spend all day long.
Yes.
All night long. You wake up in the middle of the night, go, oh, and you do something. And of course, you take your breaks. And some people work in different ways. And you have to find how you work best. For myself, I'm an early morning creator. Wake up early in the morning and work all morning long, you know, and then in the afternoon, I'm doing other stuff.
Yes.
I'm making, you know.
It's true. Well, I want to say a few things following what you have said so far. One, just following but what you just said now, it's true. It's very important to find how we manage our energy and when we are the most creative in the day and how to do this in our day. But I want to go back to what you're saying, because sometimes we are so scared to just start creating, you know, that we don't do anything. It's like, I'm just going to stay here. It will come. But we don't take an action. And what you are saying is that maybe you care in this moment about butter, peanuts and butter. And yes, peanut butter and jelly, and you take an action on this, even if it feels like it's a silly idea, it doesn't matter. The important is that you start with the action, so you start moving something, you start moving like the needle of the creation world, and then this develops.
One of the things Jacques Lecoq did with us, one of the exercises, we were doing tragedy. And we would have dialogue, and there'd be a bunch of students around us, and students would be throwing us around the stage, doing all kinds of things, over-exaggerating. Oh, that's stay fairly still, and we would say all this stuff, and one gesture would be, being thrown around on the stage, because we had all that energy inside of us. So you need to go through all this stuff, so it comes out. So when you're on stage, you can do a gesture, and the audience will see thrown across the stage when it's only a gesture.
Yes, because it contains all the experience.
And that's part of the magic of Mime, which will
exactly, because this is a perfect moment to this with what you just said. I think it's a perfect moment to talk about, so I would like for us to talk about two things. One, what we were talking yesterday, how this gesture, but having some mime training helps you to have more depth in the props that you are creating.
You might say it's theater without words.
Yes, rather than mime. Yes.
There's many kinds of mime, but you have to have great mime technique, and I've seen many shows where the performer does what I call indication mime, and that was, I'm kind of opening the door, and people know what I'm doing, so that's good enough.
Yes. It's true.
$20, $30, $40, to sit in their seat, plus their girlfriend, or the girlfriend took their girlfriend, or, so they're spending, $40 to $80, and you're indicating? You have to give them what their money's worth.
Well, not only that, but also the other part, not only the audience should receive the best we have, but also yourself as a performer, as a physical entity with so much to give, to be able to use all you have to make something clear. It's also an achievement to get to know who we are, right? Yes, I have done this.
This exercise, if you're bad technique, do this.
Yes.
Our exercise, find somebody who really knows it, and you practice it. Again, make it part of your warm-up. Make it part of your daily workout.
Yeah.
Because basically, you want to get to the point where you grab a cup. In Mime, you're not only grabbing the object, you're grabbing the energy. You're creating the energy.
Yes.
Your whole body is creating the cup, and you're lifting it up. The whole body is lifting it up. You're drinking whatever it is. You work on your technique 6 days a week. I always say 6 because you should rest for a day. Okay, it's important to take a day off.
Yes.
Okay. And if you don't, it's like I was directing this, and nothing was coming. And I said, "When was the last time you took a day off?" And they laughed, and it was like a year and a half ago.
Oh, wow, okay.
You know, and I said, you need to take a day off. You take a day off, the stuff will come. And of course, we had rehearsal that next week, you know, and after 30 seconds, I stopped them and said, you didn't take a day off. And they said, how'd you know? You know, because you can see it.
Yes, it's true.
It's important to take a break because taking the break is also one of the keys to creating original material. You can't just work. You know, you have to breathe to see life, to see the trees, to see the city, to see the sunset.
To take distance also, no?
Yes, yes. To have a drink with a friend, tea, coffee, whatever it is you drink, beer, you know, it doesn't matter, you know. But you need to take friendship time. You need to take lover time.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you know. The mind, but to go back.
Yes.
All this energy, all these experiences, you need to be able to go to the point, because if you can create a real cup, you know, or cup with a handle, whatever it is, you know, and the audience will actually see it.
Yeah.
They'll go, it will become magical. You know, if you create a cup, you can create a room. If you can create a room, you can create an entire world.
Yes.
Create an entire world, complete. Okay? And you do that by making it part of your daily workout.
Also,
if you don't have a daily workout,
it's more difficult
to create a daily workout. And if you're just beginning, you know, make it 15 minutes. Start out 15 minutes. But at the end of the month, you should be going at least an hour. You know, an hour and a half. You know, you need a complete workout, or whatever your time of day allows, whether it's in the morning or in the evening. This is how important workouts are. I have friends. I'm in New York City. I have friends that have worked on Wall Street, commodities trading. Before they went to the office, they went to the big Wall Street gym, you know, the New York Athletic Club, and they worked out for an hour and a half before they went into the office, because they wanted to be on, they wanted to be warmed up, they wanted to be clear thinking. Now, if Wall Street traders are working out for an hour and a half before they report early in the morning, certainly you as a performer need to do at least that. Okay, you know, to be on top of your game, you know. And before a show, you definitely work out.
But also, I feel like you should warm out, sorry, but also with intentionality, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, for example, coming back to what we were saying, that it's all your energy who creates the cup, no, or the bar that you were showing. And so many times I see performers, and I'm sure I might have this sometimes, that you don't see like their body is one entity. You see like they are holding a cup, but there is like the energy is until here. It's not the whole energy creating, you know, it's not the whole of us as an entity creating this object that is imaginary, but exists at the same time. So
like practicing to open a door. What kind of handle does it have?
Yes.
You know, what kind of knob? What is the finish of the door? How heavy? What is it made of?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, when you close the door, it makes a sound.
Yes.
Or do you just pretend to hear the click? No, you have to actually hear the click. You know, is there really a clicking sound? Yes, inside your soul.
Yes.
Other people will hear.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have to practice these. You know, you know, practice things with other people. One of the great exercises that Lecoq did is the pull. There's a pull. You do it with the person. I hold onto the pole, you pull, and it's walking back and forth. That Lecoq called point fix.
Yes. Yes. Okay, yeah.
You create a point somewhere on stage, and you can come back to it every time, and every time your hand will end up exactly in the same place. That takes practice. That's working out. That's and it may take you 6 months. One of my students really got it. She was a student for like 6 months, and a couple times a week. And at the end, she got it. She was really able to create objects. She was from Holland. Wonderful. And it makes a big difference. If you're just indicating.
Well, it doesn't. If you are,
it's like
it's missing depth.
You can get by. You can get by with lots of stuff, but you're a creator.
Yeah.
You want to make your living. You can't just get by. Getting by isn't good enough. The reviewers will see it. The audiences that matter, that recommend you for a gig, will see it. Okay? You ultimately, and at the end of your show, you should feel totally exhausted.
Yes.
You should be great. I was teaching this creation material workshop here in New York, and these clowns who work parades. It's just the most valuable piece of information this one guy got was do it again. And he would try a bit out that he had an idea about with somebody in the crowd, and it kind of worked. It really didn't. Instead of stopping there, it says, okay, this doesn't work. He went another block, and he tried it on the next block. Only he tried it a little differently. And towards the end of the parade, he was funny as hell. It was working. Why? Because he had a whole parade to practice. And so doing it again. And this I got.
But it's not only. I don't know if I'm sorry to quote you, but it's not only do it again. It's more like do it again and try how much farther can you go with it. Because you can say do it again, but if for me do it again, it's still pretending that I have a cup. Why will I like? It doesn't matter. It doesn't make a difference whether I do it again or not. It's do it again, and how farther, how real can be this imaginary cup, isn't it?
You need to push yourself.
Yes, exactly. This.
You need to take risk, and this gets into the fear. You have a fear.
Yes.
Of a lot of people know how to fail because you're used to failing. You know that routine. It's another thing to accept success, and part of accepting success is facing the fear and understanding that fear and failure is not failure. It's a part of success. And engineers know this. Inventors know this. They say, well, I tried this. This didn't work. But I think this part does. Let's try this.
Yes.
And they said, okay, we don't need to worry about that. We know not to do that. But, and,
let's try something different.
Yes. But sorry for skipping around, but getting back to the mind, it's important, and it's not only being able to create stuff in air, it's how you use your body.
Mm.
There was a famous Commedia dell'Arte performer in the 1600s, and the company went to England. And this one reviewer said, oh, even his back reads. It doesn't matter that he has his back to the audience because even his back was moving.
Yes.
So you cannot possibly be a performer without the art of mime. Now, was he doing the wall? No. Doing the wall, speaking around corners, but of course, important to be able to do that. But it's playing with silence and knowing.
Yes, play with silence.
And that needs to be developed.
Yes.
You need to know how to take that timing, that rhythm. Which is a whole another discussion. Of timing and rhythm. Developing that's so vital.
Yes, it's true.
But work on your mime technique.
Also,
and be sure to include joy. Okay.
That what? Be sure what?
Be sure to include joy.
Joy, yes, joy is so important. Oh, play with silence. I like that. I like it too. It's Michelle is saying play with silence. I really like this. Thank you for this. Is beautiful. So I want to come back because before I said I wanted to add that I would like if we talk about two things. The first was what we have talked so far, and the second is with a clown. Yeah, coming back to the clown and how training, having some training in theater without words or mime will benefit your performance as a clown. So in the clown, it doesn't matter what the clown does most of the time, but how does the clown do things? Right?
Right.
Do you follow me?
You're right. It doesn't matter what the clown does, it's how the clown does.
Yes, sorry, my grammar was a bit tricky there.
That's okay. My English, my Scottish isn't very good.
Okay.
Is limited to foods. Okay.
So what I would like for you to share with us is about this. It's like, it's true. It's coming back to what we said before. It's like you can have an idea, and it can be, your passion can be just talking about peanut butter and marmalades, I think you said. And that it doesn't matter that this is where you find joy, but how you do it. And if you have a good technique in creating the objects, then what you are delivering has a much more depth and professionalism. Yeah?
Yes. When you said that, about the peanut butter and jelly, it reminds me of seeing the first performance by Pierre Billon and Philippe Gaulier of L'assiette Cassée, The Breaking of Plates. And the whole show was about breaking 100 plates. And somebody who studied with Gaulier said, well, how that came about was they figured out what's the dumbest thing we can possibly do. Figured the dumbest thing they can possibly do is break plates. But the idea really moves them. Of doing something so stupid as just breaking plates. And I saw the first test rehearsal because I was going to Lecoq's at the time, and that's where they tested that out in front of us. It was brilliant, and of course they worked, and they found every possible way to break a plate conceivable, and it was mainly silent. They hardly said anything, And they had the balancing trick of it, dropping it, almost breaking it, and then breaking it. And the reviewers came out about how this is a reflection of the world, and all this. They said, no, it's just breaking plates. But it was the joy. But they combined time, they combined movement, they combined joy. But so what you were saying is, it has to be joy.